Hi, everybody. Welcome back to WildCare. We have a very fun thing planned today. We have a crossover event. We're doing a crossover event between our wildlife ambassadors and the Wildlife Hospital. So I have today my two experts. Oops, I fall over backwards. I have Melissa, who runs our Ambassador Program Manager, and Jacqueline, who is our wildlife technician in the Wildlife Hospital. And today we are going to do a comparison between this unbelievably handsome fellow, a male western pond turtle that is a patient in the Wildlife Hospital, and our dear friend, Marla, our Wildlife Ambassador Program western pond turtle. Melissa, you want to tell us why you wanted to do this comparison?
I wanted to do this comparison so that the public could see, difference coloring, difference in tails. Marla here was brought to us in 2015. We think her date of birth is 1979. And she was kept by a lady who thought she was injured.
Yep.
And thought she was...
She's missing that front foot, right?
Yeah. And I kept her as a rescue. And because of some diet issues at the time, you can see that she has shell rot here. And
and what is shell rot?
Shell rot can be affected by a lot of things. It can be a fungal or bacterial infection. It can start off as a cut that gets infected. It can be with the improper diet. They can get shell rot. Too much humidity, not enough humidity. Just some of the factors with
just a real indication that keeping an animal that should be in the wild as a pet, you're potentially inflicting some problems on that animal. One of the many reasons that we do not recommend keeping a wild animal as a pet in any context whatsoever. Jacqueline, you want to tell us a little bit about our patient here?
Sure. He came in a few days ago. He was found in the bay, and typically western pond turtles tend to live in ponds and streams. Sometimes they get swept into the brackish water, or we've had a few babies who have been swept by currents into the ocean and found on the beach. And
it seems like an odd place for a freshwater turtle.
It does seem like an odd place. So he's perfectly healthy otherwise. If you look at him, he's big, he's moving around, he looks awesome. So we're in touch with the San Francisco Zoo because they have a western pond turtle breeding program, a reintroduction program. So we're going to find the best spot to let him go. Awesome. Another thing that happens is sometimes people will relocate them thinking that they are oceanic creatures. And so they may find them heading that way and just help them along, which is the incorrect thing to do.
Right. It sounds like they can do a little bit of brackish water. So brackish meaning a combination of salt water and fresh water.
Yeah, and that's probably how they end up in the ocean too, is being right on that line, the cusp of a river in the ocean.
Sure, that makes perfect sense. So yeah, whoever found this guy thought he was in trouble, and turns out he probably was actually, if he was in the bay, in actual salt water. Do we have any idea how old this guy is?
He's probably older. I couldn't tell you exactly, but a fun fact about western pond turtles is they take a really long time to mature. They live 50 years in the wild, and it takes them 10 years to reach sexual maturity.
That's a long time.
It's a really long time, so it takes them a long time to have their babies out there.
Yeah.
I'd put him older, though, just because he does look like he has some bumps and scars from his life out there in the wild.
That makes sense.
But otherwise, he looks healthy and strong, and because his tail is so long, his cloaca is actually past the shell.
Oh, interesting.
So that indicates that he's a male, and he has a very light throat under there. I'm not going to pick him up just because it's very stressful for him.
Yes.
But when he lifts his arms, you can see that lightness. And while Marla has that lightness, hers is not natural, but his is, and that indicates male.
Interesting. David, these are western pond turtles, and we're doing a comparison between a western pond turtle patient in WildCare's Wildlife Hospital and our beloved Marla, the western pond turtle wildlife ambassador that we have. And it's are the males typically larger? Do we know if males are larger than females?
I actually don't know. I think Marla's stunted from
That's what I was thinking. Yeah. So again, Marla had been kept in captivity. The record that we have for her shows that she was taken out of the wild in the mid-70s. So we have an approximate birth date of her of 1975, which is just crazy when you think about how long these animals live. And Marla, again, because she had that injured front foot and because it was the 70s, ended up being kept as a captive turtle for all of her years. And then when the person who had her was not able to continue caring for her, she ended up at WildCare as an ambassador animal.
And that's something, you know, I find when I go out to schools or talk to people is when they want to get a reptile or anything like that, they don't really realize how long reptiles can live. I mean, it's a big commitment. We talk about people who have macaws, and macaws can live 60 or 70 years, you know, but like Mojave, I mean, he could be 80 or more.
Right.
So this is really
It's a major commitment.
It's a major commitment. These guys are actually a species of concern in California. Haven't gone to threatened yet, but obviously when they start becoming threatened or endangered, that affords them more protection.
Right. Right, and of course, anytime you have an animal that lives in a freshwater situation, that's an animal that probably is going to be facing issues with pollution, issues with people recreating, lots of different things that inhibit these guys' survival. I was one of our fellow staff members, Kelly, reminded me as I was coming in. A fun fact about rescuing pond turtles is if you see a turtle crossing the road, and the turtle has not been injured, you can assist that turtle and prevent him from getting hit by a car by picking him up, but you want to move him in the direction he's going, right? Like my first instinct might be to put him to the side that he's closest to, but you want to move that animal in the direction he's going because he wants to be there, and if you were to just set him back on the same side of the road where he'd come from, he would try to cross again and then probably get hurt. It's very, very common for us to get western pond turtle patients. I feel like not usually as big as this fellow, but very common to get western pond turtle patients into the wildlife hospital that have been hit by cars. I'll put a link to a story of one that had a shell repair done by the wildlife hospital. I'm going to move over to Marla here because she clearly wants her close-up.
She's got a long neck, too. They have
She
a really
has a
long neck when they stretch that thing
Look
out.
at that.
I think what's interesting, too, between these two, or where it kind of gave me the idea of doing a crossover, was that this patient western pond turtle wasn't eating. It wasn't eating. They were providing a lot of variety of food, and I suggested rodents because they're really opportunistic, because that's what Marla will eat. She'll eat
Right,
rodents.
they're carnivores. I find that so interesting.
So I said, well, why have you tried rodents? And then they tried rodents, and this hospital patient ate that. So it was kind of nice to do the comparison as far as like, well, you know, we have a western pond turtle. What does she eat? How can we help this patient over here?
Yeah,
And
that
vice
is
versa.
something I love so much about WildCare because all of our programs integrate together to help us provide the best possible education and also provide the best possible care for our wildlife hospital patients. Shannon asks if our turtle patient lets us love on him, and absolutely not. We do everything feasibly possible to keep these animals as wild as possible, and because he is a wild animal, he has no interest at all in receiving any love from us whatsoever. And Marla doesn't either. She's not looking for affection from us. She's looking for food, but she is accustomed to people, and she seems to respond to the attention. But again, she has been kept in captivity in a way that certainly our wild patient would not be happy with human contact.
And they're very curious. I mean, Marla has taught me so much about pond turtles. I mean, she's so very curious, you know, when anybody comes by her enclosure, and obviously she's lighting the camera, probably looking at a reflection in there, trying to figure that out. I mean, they're just really amazing, intelligent animals.
Definitely.
I have some food.
Oh, let's see if Marla wants some food. Yep,
So we have
absolutely.
a piece of food.
Oh, yeah, she does.
There we go. Gotta have that back, Marla. Thank you.
Yes, western pond turtles
There.
are carnivorous. Marla demonstrating that very, very clearly. We're not going to feed our patient now. He probably got fed earlier today, Jacqueline.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
This is a great example of them wanting to go one way, and one way only. So if I flipped him around, he would still just go back that way.
Yep.
That's where his actual tank is, and is in that direction.
Oh, so funny. Yeah, he totally knows that. Yeah, Heather, who knew Marla wanted to be a star. We knew
Yes,
it. Oh,
yes.
Thank you so much to whoever donated right now. Thank you. You know, we are continuing to care for a crazy number of wildlife hospital patients during the shelter in place, including this turtle. And of course, we have the ongoing care of our wildlife ambassador animals that serve such a wonderful educational purpose and bring so much joy to so many people's lives, and your support makes a huge difference. Heather wants to know if the turtles can tell there's another turtle nearby.
I doubt it.
I mean, they seemed pretty disinterested.
Yeah.
Out of sight, out of mind.
Yeah, definitely.
If you put them in the same water, you probably would end up with some awareness, right?
Yeah, they're pretty solitary in the wild, though. They don't interact much with each other unless it's breeding season.
Yeah, and introducing food here would definitely be
Yes.
the way food competition would be crazy.
Yeah.
But like they're opportunistic though, so I mean, like you never know really what they're going to eat, and they're adaptable in that way. If you're opportunistic, it makes you can adapt to pretty much whatever's in your environment and have a better success rate at surviving.
Yep.
In the wild, they actually eat tadpoles, small frogs, bugs, anything of that nature.
It's just amazing. Such a varied diet. And again, there's so much, going on in their heads and going on in their lives. And I love that. It's been something so fun to learn about reptiles.
Completely. They're also picky eaters, too. Some eat one thing and the other eats something else.
Oh, that's funny. It's like us.
Yeah, they're completely...
I like barbecued potato chips. Someone else likes salt and vinegar.
Yes.
Exactly. Individuals.
They are individuals. It's really, it's one of the great opportunities here is that you learn that each it might belong to a big species, but they're all individuals.
Yeah, they absolutely are. Well, I think this guy is probably about ready to go back to his enclosure. This has been some exercise for him, and Marla's gotten some exercise as well. Thank you so much for joining us today. We will have another live stream tomorrow. Not sure who we're doing, but it'll be someone amazing. That'll be at 1 o'clock. Visit WildCare online at discoverwildcare.org. Everybody, please stay healthy, stay well. Think about the reptiles in your life, and have a great afternoon. Thanks all.